looking at Kano State and the politics that has been brewing there for quite a while now. We did tell you at the beginning of the program that it all began at the weekend when the deputy governor, the former deputy governor, Aminu Abdulsalam Gwarzo, resigned his appointment. And no reason has been given for that resignation, but so many things have been insinuated, but we'll get to know exactly what is going on there. Let's talk to Abibu Saleh Mohammed, is joining me virtually from Kano this morning. Good morning, Abibu. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
All right. The resignation of the former deputy governor, Abdulsalam Gwarzo, did it come to you as a surprise?
Well, I think we have already made a statement about that. Not only me, and I believe all Nigerians, it did not come to anyone as a surprise. Looking at the circumstances and particularly looking at the reaction of the state government since the deputy governor decided not to actually defect with them to APC. And also the first casualty actually is the Ministry of Education or Ministry of Higher Education that is actually under the deputy governor's office. The governor hastily scrapped a particular ministry in an attempt to continue to intimidate and cajole the deputy governor to either leave or to also follow suit to the APC. And not only that, you also have to look at other agencies under that particular ministry, like Scholarship Board, which continue to suffer because of that, and several other things. And the Konkosia movement, feeling the fact that education is our key priority, and also several other things under the office of the deputy governor are being subject of attack here and there, decided that in the best interest of the state and also for the function the way it's supposed to, decided to just resign and allow peace to reign. And also, if you look at the political situation, this is an election year, and the deputy governor is an active member of Konkosia movement. And because of the happenings around, it requires his total commitment, you understand, to the development and restructuring of the movement for it to actually capture power come the election cycle. So these are also part of the broader reason why instead of continuous dragging here and there, and instead of him going there with the weight of the responsibility of that office of the deputy governor, he decided to quit and allow peace to reign and also allow the government to choose whoever they feel comfortable with so that the Kano State people will continue to enjoy governance without unnecessary tension.
All right. Now, we do know that the House of Assembly in Kano had already initiated impeachment proceedings against the former deputy governor. And he also spoke, saying that recent circumstances have constrained his ability to fulfill his duty directly, something you alluded to in your last intervention. Now, all of this culminated in his resignation, you think. But what are the reactions of political watchers in Kano? Because now a lot is happening. The Kokwansiya movement is stepping out of the NNPP and moving to a different platform from the one that Governor Yusuf moved to. So what is the import of all of this on the politics of Kano State?
Well, first, to start with the aspect of the defection and issues around APC, NNPP, you know, it's actually not a new thing in Kano. We have seen the same scenario plays when Ganduje decided to leave the movement and also take away most of the elected and appointed officials with him. And we've also seen how the Konkosia movement kind of strategized, you understand, and above again to take over again from the APC. And the issues of alignment and realignment, I believe, is also not new. Remember, our principal was part of such a coalition when the APC was formed, and he has played a very active role in that particular aspect. But the reality in Kano now is that, for every decision, either from the government side or that from our own side, there is definitely going to be consequences for it. And some of the consequences are generic and some are specific. In the governor's side, there are specific consequences, which means that he has to manage, you understand, the people he made, and even the aspiration of those that are actually getting ready to maybe contest an election into various positions. But because of his own presence and being the party leader now, and he was granted him and members of the State Assembly and other elected positions a kind of automatic ticket, there is necessarily going to be a lot of bitterness with the people from the other side, and it depends on how he managed that particular aspect of it. And the governor that we know necessarily will have a serious issues doing that, and that is going to be to our own advantage. As you have seen that various camps have been reaching out to the Concoursia movement, there is this very heavy speculation about even the flag bearer of the APC coming also into this alliance and what have you. The realignment actually we have a very protocol discussions with just doing all that is necessary to ensure that we have bounced back. And so the atmosphere is actually a bit tense, and at the same time, it's normal because so many people are actually expecting so many moves from different angles, and I assure you things will take shape very soon. Today, our national leader is moving to a broader coalition, which we believe the decision is actually taken in the best interest of not only the movement, but that of the state and even the nation in general. If we look at the scenario where the federal government is trying to actually ensure that no opposition exists, no political party function, the situation calls for actually all the sensible and reasonable leaders to think alike and work together to ensure that the democracy is safe and also an opposition allowed to actually contribute to the total development of the political landscape. And that is why our national leader leave the NNPP, you understand, in an attempt to actually help the coalition attain such a goal of stabilizing the Nigerian democracy.
Now, if one takes into consideration or looks at the fact that for quite a while, until when the announcement was made that Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, the former governor of Kano and, of course, the leader of the Kwankwansiya movement, was being wooed by the All Progressives Congress, APC. Now that the announcement has been made that he's moving, he has resigned from the NNPP and is going to register with the ADC today. Is this just a precursor to the resignation of the deputy governor himself? And secondly, I'd like to know, what are the political waters like in Kano now that you have the leader of the Kwankwansiya movement going in one direction and the state governor going in a different one?
Well, to be honest with you, from the Kwankwansiya side, to us is, like I told you, is nothing new. And the entire people of the state actually are even ready for, in fact, they are just waiting for the move, whatever the national leader decided, I believe, to a large extent, that is what is going to happen. And the Kwankwansiya movement, and by extension now, whatever political party he joined, have the highest stake in terms of reclaiming the state, irrespective of the fact that the governor and some other political appointees are already there. So I tell you, things are actually going normal, except for the fact that you expected to continue to hear this movement and alignment and alignment, because there are so many people that are actually on the fence. Actually, one, they are trying to see what direction the movement is going to take. Two, they are trying to also to see what path along. That is outside the Konkosia movement that are just 100% with the Konkoso. So the political atmosphere in the state is not actually tense. Actually, is calm, because most of the things that are actually happening are things that people already expected. And like you all said, I have made mention of that fact that the deputy governor feel the need actually to get involved in all of these political permutations and political realignment. And also you want to be free to do that without the burden or the weight of the responsibility of the deputy governor's office. So therefore, Kano is actually taking shape, and soon, maybe after today's activities, I believe the update you are going to continue to have is the fact that the number and the size of the members and also the people that will join the ADC in the coming days. And I bet you, if you can check the record, even from just the preliminary discussions when the Peter Obi and the others came, particular time and directives is given for the members of the Konkosia to actually move into ADC. I believe the numbers actually in Kano of those that are with ADC have risen significantly, and it will continue to do so in the next few days. And even after all this, when everything settles, I believe it will continue to be an interesting thing how the Kano State is going to turn completely into ADC. I assure you of that.
Okay, your assurance is well noted. Looking at the release that was signed by Senator Kwakwanso at the weekend, which was on TV just now, he said his decision was a difficult one, but he was taking it due to the current trajectory of the nation's political landscape, which he said necessitates a strategic realignment. Now, let me take you to that issue of strategic realignment. Looking at the ADC already, political watchers are saying that, so some of them say that the party may find it a bit difficult to arrive at who should be flag bearer at the presidential level when we talk about the elections in 2027. Now, don't you think that the ADC already has quite a lot of political heavyweights? And is there really, truly any opportunity for any headway for Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso in that party? And of course, maybe you will let us also know if there was any prior discussion and agreements that had been reached that necessitated the movement from the NNPP to the ADC.
Well, first, I think the most important thing is the fact that the Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso decided to move into ADC first for the sole reason that this country needs to be saved, you understand, from sliding into a one-party state. And I believe with that intention in mind, he is open to any issue and any discussion that will ensure that that particular goal is attained. And secondly, I believe with the substance of the people coming, you know, it's not just about the coalition, it's about also the substance, what each and every other big wig represent, and how they are going to use that individual substance into a collective substance that will allow for the coalition to actually serve the purpose for which it is actually formed. And I believe with him getting into that, there are a lot of consultations, which I and you know very well, and which must have encouraged him, you understand, to take this particular step. And I believe the people that are there are seasoned politicians and also those that have the interest of Nigeria at heart. And the main focus is salvaging the Nigeria and ensure that the APC-led government is set aside and allow Nigeria to breathe and also ensure that democracy survives. So I believe whatever kind of permutations, calculations that is going to take place there will be shaped by these intentions and desire, you understand, for Nigeria to actually function as a democratic entity rather than just one party state that is being dictated indirectly and also being subjected to just one particular party and what have you. So I can assure you that our national leader is open to all discussions and is ready. And I believe this is not only him, the discussions must have allowed him to be satisfied that issues will be handled the best way possible and in the best interest of Nigerians and in the direction that it will have the coalition attain the desired goal.
All right, Abibu, now the national leader, your national leader, the Kokonsia national leader, is moving today, registering for the ADC. We're told also that he's directed all members of the Kokonsia movement to register for the ADC in their own wards and the various homes. Is that happening today too?
Yeah, I can assure you that if you've been following maybe the trend in the social media, you will have seen a lot of members actually registering and displaying their card since that directive is given. In fact, some have actually gone to start registration from the day they were certain that issues of that nature is actually brewing. And I assure you today, immediately after, beyond Kano State, I believe all our members across the north and even across the nation will abide with that directives and register en masse with the ADC. The central idea, like I told you, is that this movement is embedded into collective aspirations of not only the Konkosia members, for example, in Kano State, it goes down into the aspirations of the common man. And I believe so many people are looking for a clear direction because they have already been kind of muzzled by the FEC and also being subject to hardship through the policies of the FEC. And I believe every sensible Nigerian will work with those that are ready and willing, especially those that are tested, those that have proven at a point that they were able to solve a problem that is seen to be normal where they are before. And I think not only the Konkosia members, but I assure you the entire people, most of the people in Kano State will move along that particular direction.
You seem so confident that all the political minded people, all Kano State people will move with the Kwakwansia movement. But are you discountenancing completely what in political terms is described as the power of incumbency? The governor, Abba Yusuf, has crossed over to the All Progressives Congress, APC. So what gives you the confidence that all of Kano State will go the Kwakwansia way to ADC?
Well, because when we presented him as a candidate, he was barely not known to even Kano State people. People of the state have already aligned themselves with the ideology of the Konkosia because of what Konkosia stands for them. Especially the masses and the downtrodden, they have seen that the manifestos, or rather the ideology and even the scripts of Konkosia is such that actually have taken the cognizance of who they are and their individual aspiration to rise and becomes others in their life. Because this is the movement that introduces a lot of measures that are consistent, and they have been paying off since the inception. When the national leader served as the governor of the state, he introduces so many measures, and we believe so much in education to such an extent that education rank first, second, and third in our schemes of things. That is why our national leader introduces free feeding, free uniform, and also free educational facilities when he was the governor, introduces 2 universities, and also bring about the private university to the fact that Kano is now having close to 20 universities, introduces 26 entrepreneur institutes across the state to such an extent that at a particular point in time, no single child from a secondary school that end up not having to further his education irrespective of his own qualification and what have you. And today, we are proud to say that that particular arrangement was like a seed then, which actually centered around the common man. Today, it has produces more than 350 PhD holders that are serving in the various institutions, not only in the state, but across the northern part of the country. I can tell you that there are institutions where if those scholars are no longer there serving as a lecturer at that particular institution, might end up not having accreditation or even collapsing. So there are so many things that a common man has seen and touched and feel, and they understand. And even the governor, when he was elected, he just hit the ground running, simply because there is a script there for him to work on. You understand? And all the laurels, all the issues that are being celebrated that the governor have actually gotten were issues that are from the script of the Concosia. And the common man and the people of Kano State are well aware of that particular fact. And the fact that Concosia is such that have such a trust in the choices of the national leader, because they believe whoever is there is just going to go on with those particular program. I assure you that we'll have no problem presenting anybody to serve, and I tell you the people of Kano State will do that. And to tell you, the moment the governor decided to defect, in any alignment of two maybe political ideology, naturally there has to be compromise. And that are the sort of the compromises we have started noticing, and the people of the state have started noticing. There is no way somebody who has that discipline, Concosia discipline, for whatever reason decided to scrap an entirety of a very important, or rather one of the most important ministry in the state, you understand, simply to satisfy political, arrangement and what have you. And that is in principle complete, divergence from the goals and the policies of Concosia. And not only that, the scholars, or rather the scholarship that he has also continued, he has abandoned that already. The fact that you had them even on the media crying out simply because he wanted to achieve certain political goals, that's not part of what we have sorted out. And there's so many other, divergence, which I believe the people of the state are actually watching. And like I told you, he's not somebody that can handle a complex political setting like where he found himself. Remember, this is the man that have moved into a camp of bigger fishes, you understand, where Ganduje is there, where the TSP is there, and several other political bigwigs that are actually watching him taking steps that we believe are not going to be in his own favor, because he lacked that capacity to actually manage the complexity of such a setting, and the fact that he is actually going to stamp over the aspiration of so many people that kills originally the owners of the ABC in the state. And I believe that is just going to be a plus to us, and it will make it a fertile ground for us to take over the government. Remember, we have done that before. It's not a new thing to us. When Ganduje and every other person is there, with even the support of the federal government and what have you, And the Konkosia movement is having no single councillor, not to talk of a member of House of Rep or State Assembly, or even to talk of the contractors that ought to support or even fund, you understand, any election or what have you. We have started from ground level zero, and yet we took over that particular government and also placed him there. So it's not going to be very difficult for us to uproot him and also allow, you understand, the state to regain its senses.
We'll just have to wait and see how that pans out in the coming days and weeks. Dr. Abibu Saleh Mohammed, we must thank you very much for talking to us this morning. He is the spokesperson for the Kwakwansia movement. He's been talking to us, giving us an update on the events in that state. Of course, the political season kicking off in earnest right across Nigeria. Thank you very much, Dr. Mohammed.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Okay.
All right, you're still watching Kakaki, the African Voice. We have comments that have been flying in from all our viewers this morning. And Victor Temba is the one who has been commenting on this particular conversation. Let me start from there, looking at a few of these comments. And he says, this is what Kwakwanso should have done in the 2023 general elections. He would have been the vice president by now, but no, the eagle in him for being a vice president under an Igbo man didn't allow him. If the Kwakwansia group refused to work with Peter Obi because of the Northern Eagles against the Southeasterners, what sudden change and what could be different now? Well, we'll wait and see how it pans out, Victor. And Jones Ogumike says, beautiful. His response on Kwakwanso is very brilliant. Thank you very much for that. So we have so many other comments that came in during the newspaper review, but it's time for us to step aside, for me to step aside, and Kakaki Social will come on in just a moment. Stay with us.